I remember the moment my world cracked like glass under a hammer. The day I learned the man I had promised my forever to had been keeping another kind of promise behind my back. Not to me, but to my best friend. I am Helena Montez, 35 years old, senior bank executive in the tallest tower for miles. And while my title drips with authority, my power runs deeper than anyone suspects, because my wealth is not just what sits in the vaults, but what I have sown quietly, strategically, over a decade of control and calculation. I never flaunt it, and that is why no one saw it coming when love and betrayal collided like steel in my chest. His name? No, I refuse to give him the dignity of a name, was warm and charming when we met, with eyes that promised loyalty, and I believed those promises the way a drowning person believes in the strength of. One night, I was wrapping up a late deal at the bank when my phone lit up with an image I will never forget. Their hands clasped across a candlelit table, his with the gold band I had given him, hers with the bracelet she swore was from her mother. That dinner was not business, and that bracelet was mine. My throat burned and my fingers shook, but I did not scream. I have always believed rage is wasted if it is spent too soon. I smiled the next morning in the office. Even as I signed transfers that would shift his trust fund into accounts he did not know I controlled. I took meetings with her as if nothing was wrong, her voice sweet, her perfume floral, and the scent of betrayal winding around my ribs. I invited them both to a gala, a fundraiser tied to my department, because vengeance, real vengeance, loves an audience. The night of the gala, I wore red, not the red of romance, but the red of finality. And I had the microphone placed in my hand for the closing speech. The lights fell on my face, hundreds of eyes set on me, and I spoke about loyalty, about building empires with people you can trust, about the poison of deceit. They smiled politely from the front table, but they did not understand until I shifted my tone, until I told every donor, every executive, and every journalist that the very man who thought he owned me now served under my department's control. I revealed the acquisition deal I had orchestrated months before. A takeover that positioned me as his employer. His mouth fell open, hers turned pale, and I watched them both realize that I had not just survived their betrayal, I had built a cage from it. If you love Helena's journey, like and subscribe to join her next chapter. The cage was made not of iron, but of contracts, performance clauses, and a title positioned just high enough that every report he submits now carries my signature. She disappeared within weeks, unable to face the weight of a woman she thought would break. And he remained, swallowed by the machine of his own ambition, which I now direct. Sometimes he knocks on my door, standing in pressed suits, doe-eyed and hollow, asking for guidance on pitches, budgets, personnel matters. And every time I give it, not because I care about him, but because each time I do, I remind him of the cost of what he took from me. People ask why I did not fire him outright, and I tell them the truth. Justice is served best when slow, cold, and unavoidable. It is not about stripping a man of his career in a single motion. It is about letting him wake up every morning knowing the face he tried to humiliate is the face that decides his future. But even as the satisfaction hums through me, I will admit there is weight to this power. Sometimes I wonder if I have become what I once feared, someone who builds walls too high for love to climb. My friends talk about dating, about laughter at midnight, and breakfasts in bed. But I have seen what those breakfasts cost when the wrong person pulls the chair out from under you. Still, I am not empty. My victories fill me in ways romantic promises never did. and my empire grows brick by brick, deal by deal, while he counts each step under my shadow. The bank sees only numbers and percentages, and I keep smiling because my numbers tell a quiet story of control. I have learned that betrayal is not the end. It is a blueprint. You take the sharp edges it leaves in your hands, and you cut a path forward, one your enemies will have to walk on every day for the rest of their lives. The night I signed the papers that placed him under me was the night I fully reclaimed myself. And now when I stand at the panoramic window of my office and watch the city lights pulse like a living map, if they think they can break me again, they should remember every attempt just gives me more to build with. Justice is never rushed. Justice waits, and justice arrives exactly when I decide it will. And in my world, justice always wears my name. Subscribe now so you do not miss the next chapter of my rise.